When it comes to the well-being of a family of billionaires, the powers that be do not skimp and invest fantastic sums in the construction of underground bunkers that can withstand even a nuclear strike. The luxury inside these buildings is amazing, and the location of such objects is classified. But as a result of data leaks, some information has become clearer, and now you can see what the richest people on the planet are hiding underground. Today we will talk about secret shelters in case of an apocalypse, underground shelters for top US officials, how much private super bunkers cost, and we will look into the secret storage facilities of RIS Reserve, which are located at a depth of more than 100 meters, so be sure to watch this video to the end, you will interesting. Luxurious bunkers of money bags. Money bags really don't spare any expense when it comes to their security. In the USA, there are even large specialized companies that are engaged in the construction of high-tech luxury bunkers for those who want to survive in the event of a disaster and at the same time continue to lead a luxurious lifestyle even at a time when all life on the surface of the earth is dying. Engineers involved in the design of private bunkers report that underground swimming pools and cinemas are common. Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, who regularly talks to owners of multinational corporations, said more than half of California tech billionaires are preparing for the worst just in case. Perhaps they know something. One way or another, the demand for private bunkers in the world is constantly growing. Some of them have special rooms with escape hatches, with which you can use the tunnel to get into the bunker without rising to the surface. Someone equips secret descents into the shelter right from their own home. Good decision. In the event of an apocalypse, there may simply not be time for additional movements. And some, on the contrary, hid underground structures on the territory of land plots at a distance from the main place of residence. These rich people bet that no one will discover their hiding place in the moment of disaster. It must be said right away that often no one knows about the contents of underground super shelters. Billionaires are trying to hide the fact of construction from everyone, even from the state. Sometimes businessmen deliberately build secret facilities on the territory of poor countries, where, in the general confusion, they manage to avoid the need to register the structure. Declassified bunker with cinema and fitness room. One of the most popular declassified bunkers is located in Indiana and resembles a comfortable 4-star hotel, complete with a movie theater, sports training equipment, geothermal heating, and a year's supply of fuel and food. And the facility called Europa 1 was built during the Cold War. The construction includes 34 housing complexes, each with an area of more than 230 square meters. We would need a separate video to list the decorations of this bunker, so let's just say that inside there is a cinema, a swimming pool, a gym, luxurious bathrooms, and several rooms, information about which is not in the public domain. Only the construction company and the owner of the shelter know what is there. By the way, what would you put in your bunker if you had the opportunity to build one? Write in the comments. The most expensive bunker. One of the most expensive and sophisticated bunkers of the apocalypse is located on the site of an old missile silo from the Cuban Missile Crisis in Kansas. It is a 15-story underground residential complex. The territory is classified and guarded. To enter the premises, you need to overcome a checkpoint, and then steel doors weighing 8 tons. According to information posted on the engineering company's website, this fortified structure can survive nuclear war, epidemics, and natural disasters. Inside there is a water park, medical center, dog park, climbing wall, library, gym, lounge area, and even a shooting range. Walking dogs directly underground, without rising to the surface, the rich can afford it. Each room has a window that imitates a view of the street. This helps keep their inhabitants psychologically stable. The screens show what is happening outside the bunker. In addition to food supplies, the house has containers for raising fish and compact systems for growing vegetables, so you can live in such a facility for a very long time. How do engineers design such structures? Often, developers try to make sure that all systems inside bunkers are automated. Underground houses are equipped with autonomous climate and ventilation systems, units for water production and treatment facilities. Some people order home restaurants, wells, and even power plants. Engineers are trying to do everything to make it possible to live in an underground house without outside support. Some want to preserve more than just themselves and are asking designers to add to the shelter a collection of rare animals, an archive of valuable artifacts, and even a DNA repository to preserve species. New Zealand is a collection of billionaires' bunkers. Billionaires are showing particular interest in havens in New Zealand. Entire villages are being built there from bunkers. The founder of one of the companies that builds them says that the average cost of each object is $8.5 million. The project includes 9 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a garden, a workshop, a garage, an office, and a fitness center. It would seem that who would buy such expensive underground real estate? But during the pandemic, VIP shelters began to be bought by IT tycoons in Silicon Valley. However, experts say New Zealand is not the best place for doomsday bunkers. This area is prone to tsunamis, and in the event of a disaster, the risks of flooding underground structures are enormous. Researchers claim that Amazon founder Jeff Bezos also purchased a super bunker in New Zealand. And Bill Gates took care of the shelter back in 2015. He owns a whole network of bunkers scattered across different states. All of them are autonomous structures, and their exact number is unknown. Private underground facilities in Russia. In Russia, private secret facilities are usually built in the Moscow region, which is not surprising. For example, researchers became aware of one of the shelters when in 2018, in a cottage village on Novorossiysk Highway, a building was put up for sale for more than $1 million. The house was equipped with a bomb shelter, which is not visible from satellites and can protect in the event of a war with nuclear weapons. According to engineering companies, the cost of a bunker in Russia starts from 7 million rubles. The price depends on various factors, primarily on the size of the shelter and how long the client plans to stay in it without contact with the outside world. Budget bunker made of buses. It seems that billionaires will always find a way to save their lives in 100 different ways, while mere mortals will only watch the apocalypse. However, there are exceptions to this rule. Someone manages to build underground shelters without having a lot of money. It turns out to be budgetary, but effective. For example, the largest private bunker in North America was built by an 85-year-old electrical engineer from Canada named Bruce Beach. This grandfather foresaw a global catastrophe back during the Cold War. It was then, while still a young man, that he decided to protect himself from what seemed to him then inevitable death, and bought more than 40 decommissioned school buses, literally dug them into the ground, filled them with concrete and covered them with a 4-meter layer of soil. As a result, a private bunker with an area of 1 square kilometer was built 2 hours from Toronto. For many decades, Bruce was engaged in establishing communications. Now the dungeon has electricity, water supply, drainage, a special ventilation system and a telephone line. It's amazing that one man managed to build a shelter that can accommodate up to 500 people. The shelter has bedrooms, toilets, kitchen dining rooms, temperature-controlled food pantries, huge tanks of clean water and even a children's room. Of course, there is no luxury inherent in purchased bunkers. Now Bruce is many years old, and most likely he will not need the bunker. However, the man continues to maintain the creation of his entire life in working order. Greenbrier Congressional Bunker. In the 20th century, the threat of nuclear war was real, and superpowers took measures to protect members, government and representatives of the political elite. The Greenbrier Bunker was designed for the U.S. Congress. Construction of the facility began during a deterioration in relations with Cuba. It was planned as a replacement for the Washington Capitol in the event of an attack from the Soviet Union and Cuba. For 30 years, the structure was classified and kept in a state of full readiness. Researchers say that only a few dozen people knew about its existence and signed non-disclosure documents. A 25-ton door blocked entry for outsiders. According to the plan, politicians had the opportunity to live fully in the bunker for 40 to 60 days. The premises are equipped with technology for communication with the outside world and camouflage equipment to create the impression that members of Congress are broadcasting from Washington. Even the smallest details were worked out. For example, in the case nuclear disaster, members of parliament had to hand over their clothes and get new ones, then go to the showers. Such actions prevent infection. Despite its impressive size, it took a long time to find the bunker. The object was declassified only in 1992, when journalists found out its location and talked about it in a revealing article. Bunker on Taganka in Moscow. One of the most interesting bunkers in Russia is located almost in the very center of Moscow, 60 meters from the Taganskaya metro station. It was built in 1950. According to the plan, in the event of an emergency, the facility, which is called Bunker 42, was to house the headquarters of the Long Range Aviation Command, a geodetic laboratory, a telegraph, and a radio studio. Supplies of food, fuel, air purification systems and wells with artesian water were also hidden here. The secret tunnels opened into the Moscow metro, so in some places in the bunker you can hear the rumble of passing trains. In the 2000s, the facility was declassified, and in 2006 the Cold War Museum opened there. There is another museum, Bunker 703 USSR Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Moscow. It is located at a depth of 43 meters and has only been open to visitors since 2018. Until then, many important international documents were stored there. Reserve is the State Doomsday Repository. The public remembers the existence of a stock of basic products, goods, and equipment in Russia only in days of disaster. What is stored in reserve is used only in case of emergency. This department traces its history back to October 17, 1931, when, by order of Joseph Stalin, the Reserve Committee under the Council of Labor and Defense was created. The main structures of reserve are hidden underground at a depth of about 100 meters. They are usually located in mine workings left after mining. Facilities in the Urals, for example, store metal products, industrial materials, food, grain, petroleum products, and medicines. A prerequisite is an expiration date of more than 1 year. The exact nomenclature and volumes are confidential information. According to standards, the entire population of Russia is provided with a reserve for 3 months. There are a lot of unique things in the warehouses. For example, reserve raw materials for important production are stored at the bottom of one of the Siberian lakes. What exactly this production is, the management cannot answer, it is a state secret. Sets of special floating bridges are also stored to ensure reliable crossings across all major rivers of the country. They can be deployed within a few days. By the way, strategic reserves may be required even in peacetime. For example, the contents of the storage facilities came in handy in the 50s, when China unilaterally stopped supplies of tin and antimony to the USSR. Leading enterprises were then on the verge of shutdown. But thanks to reserves, the industry was able to continue operating. The management of reserve claims that the logistics of storage facilities allows products to be shipped anywhere in the country within 2 hours. A constant temperature is maintained in the bunkers, usually +8 +10 degrees, and humidity is automatically controlled. Some storage facilities are located at a depth of 125 meters, this is the height of 5 8-story buildings. You can go down to the bunker, which journalists from the Russian media talked about, through one of 2 shafts. The sounds are not at all similar to those on the surface. There is either complete silence or metallic rumble. All doors close hermetically, so if a flood starts somewhere, the water will not go far. To prevent a collapse, the staff has specialists in lifting machines and maintenance of mine workings. This team regularly taps walls. Needless to say, cellular communications do not work at depth. Ideal conditions for storing goods naturally developed in underground corridors. The safety is also facilitated by the fact that no one lives here, neither rodents nor insects. But just in case, there are control traps with bait everywhere. All products arriving at the warehouse are carefully checked, both at the entrance and throughout the entire storage period. Every movement is recorded, analyses, deadlines, documentation. Each employee bears financial responsibility. There are alarms all around. The output is a check. Thanks to supplies, people and even entire regions can receive timely assistance. In 2004, after the storming of a school seized by terrorists in Beslan, stretchers, ventilators, and oxygen equipment provided by RUS Reserve were used. And after the accident at the Sayano-Shushenskaya hydroelectric power station, the electric generators necessary to begin restoration work were delivered to the disaster site within a few hours. At the same time, not all RUS Reserve facilities are underground. For example, petroleum products are often stored in above-ground tanks. But no matter how fortified and expensive the bunker is to save lives in the event of a disaster, no matter in whose hands it is, perhaps the most important thing is that these structures will never be useful to us. Write what you think about all this, rate this episode, and see you in the next episodes on our channel.